Another, I shouldn't say another, the first week of NFL football is underway. The Sunday games are all through. Now we just got this Monday night game going on. Brandon, how you doing today?
Feeling good. Victory Monday. How about yourself?
That's right. Victory Monday for me too. It was a stressful one, but we got it done. Looking forward to
Yep,
talking to that. Let's get this open drive going.
got you. All right, Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins, he's out for the year after tearing his Achilles. Tough break
Mm.
for us. Patriots owner Robert Kraft, he says he'll waive the 4-year waiting period for players to be inducted into the team's Hall of Fame for quarterback Tom Brady. The longtime New England signal caller will get inducted into a ceremony on June 12th, 2024. Speaking of quarterbacks, we had 14 starting quarterbacks that were black in week one. That's impressive. Congratulations to all those guys as well. And in other news, former Titan, Cowboy, and Bengal defensive back Adam Pac-Man Jones was arrested early on Monday for disorderly conduct at a Cincinnati airport. Authorities also said that Jones was intoxicated.
Mm. Good
Yeah,
luck to him on that. Let's
same.
move to these games though. Cardinals at Commanders. This was a very stressful game. Brandon, I'm gonna let you give your thoughts on it before I go into it though.
Man, I would say y'all won by the hair on my chinny chin chin, but I have a full beard. So yeah. Early on I was thinking about you a lot because it as you would say, it was looked like typical Washington football. Arizona's defense showed up. They're the only ones on the roster besides their kicker that did that. But on y'all side of things, Sam Howell, he took 6 sacks. He had that fumble that led to the score for Arizona in the second quarter. Luckily, he redeemed himself through the air and on the ground, uh, untouched with that rushing touchdown, by the way, just straight up that left side. Good play there. I wasn't too concerned with your offensive line heading into the season, but now I am definitely going to be looking at that moving forward. But listen, that hit that on Sam Howell that Kazir White put on him on the sidelines and started that scuffle. It
Yeah.
would be on ESPN's Jacked Up, but they don't have it anymore. So so Sam Howell got saved by that. That was an old school hit right there. But yeah, happy though for the fans of Washington though. It was a good home win on a day where the team officially turned the page on the old regime. I know that crowd out there was rocking. You had a lot of former players and a couple of coaches back as well, from what I understand. So yeah, good win is overall as far as win column goes, but y'all got a lot of work to do this week, it looks like.
Yes, we certainly do, boy. I was huffing and puffing at the TV watching this game, boy. I don't think I texted you during my game. If I did, I don't know. I was going through it, man. I'm glad we got the win. I think it would have been a little, not a little, but a lot of bit embarrassing for the Commanders. We had a full house, sold out crowd. Sonny
Yep.
Jurgensen was there in attendance. Freaking Kevin Durant was there. Joel Embiid, some NBA players. Champ Bailey showed up. It was a whole bunch of people, alumni, everything you want to name. They was there. And they came out. Sam Howell looked like a rookie. It was, I mean, we got
Yeah.
Arizona come out looking like the 85 Bears for a second with our O line. The way Dallas played last night, I'm scared when we play them. So, I mean, we got a lot of things to work out. Freaking, let me get to Arizona for a second. They had a guy, Dennis Gardeck. They said he didn't record a sack since 2020. Well, it was the perfect game for him to get a sack. He had 2 sacks against us and a forced fumble. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, it's Dobbs for a minute. I thought Dobbs was gonna win against. I thought he was gonna beat us, but thank you, defense. Thank you, defense. If it wasn't for the defense, who knows where we'd be at this game. The defense, they didn't give out any touchdowns. The freaking Arizona defense almost scored more points than their offense, man. It was crazy
Yep.
out there. But Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, the whole defense alive, man. Y'all, especially that fourth quarter, y'all made sure that the Commanders were not going to lose this game. Forced some sacks, got some turnovers. I think they were both teams have multiple like turnovers, where it's like back to back. We would get a turnover, they get the ball, do something, then we get the ball back, we get another turnover. Antonio Gibson, man, he had a costly fumble in the red zone. while we were in scoring position, and I was just like, oh my god, like you said, typical Washington football. I was just like, goodness, man. That's why I watch football by myself because I be going through it,
Same.
boy. I tell you, but yeah, I'm just glad we got this week. We got Denver next week. So O line, Sam Howell, please, y'all stay. Y'all need to stay overnight. Y'all need to stay the training facility, the stadium. The guy, come on, y'all gotta get together. Especially Sam Howell. You had some very bad throws. You look really. I'm really concerned right now about Sam Howell. I had high expectations for him, but maybe I gotta lower them some. I know he's inexperienced. You can kind of say this is his rookie year, even though he played a game last year, but he didn't get that much time. So please, Sam Howell, please improve. But I'm glad we got the win. Let's move on though.
I understand, but touching on that point of why you watch games by yourself, I'm the same way. My sister wanted to go to Buffalo Wild Wings yesterday. I'm like, you ain't gonna see me out of nobody's restaurant, nobody's house until week 11 or whatever week we go on bye week. And by that point, I'll probably be stressed out and just want to sleep all day. Cause like honestly, it just get like that. So yeah, I'm right with you, man, for sure.
Man,
Yep. All right. How about the AFC South showdown? Pretty much was neck and neck until the fourth quarter. Jaguars took the win 31-21. You see any of this contest?
I did, and I think it's safe to say that out of all the rookie quarterbacks who played last night or the day before,
Yeah,
Anthony Richardson, he had the best performance. He didn't
definitely.
lead the team to win, but out of all the guys, all the rookies yesterday, he played pretty well considering everything. He went 24-37 for 223 yards and touchdowns. He did throw an interception as well, but he had 10 carries for 40 yards, and
Yep.
he looked pretty comfortable out there, in my opinion. He did have a mistake with that one interception he threw. That was kind of an errant pass. And most of his runs were it seemed to be design runs. He didn't just take off because he was shook or any spooked or anything like that. Most of his runs were design runs. He hooked up, excuse me, he hooked up with Michael Pittman Jr. They had that nice screenplay where Michael Pittman broke it for a touchdown. On the Jaguar side of the ball, though, I was kind of concerned. They had that one play, this crazy ass play where Lawrence fumbled the ball. He got hit as he was releasing it, but they counted it as a
Yeah.
fumble. Their rookie Tank
Yep.
Bigsby picked it up, and for a split moment, everybody just kind of was just sitting there. But there was no referee whistle. No one blew the whistle. One of the Colts players kept playing. He punched the ball out. DeForest Buckner picked the ball up and returned it about 35 yards, I think, for a touchdown. And at that point, it was
Hmm.
a 21-17 Colts. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, we got an upset brewing. But Trevor Lawrence and
Definitely.
crew, they were able to stay steady with it. Travis Etienne, he had a touchdown. Tank Bisbee, he even had a touchdown too. But
Hmm.
Calvin Ridley, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear
Yes.
his name in Offensive Player of the Year awards because he had himself a game, 8 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. So it was a good win for the Jaguars. I don't, NFL, you don't have moral victories, but I think going forward, Anthony Richardson looks pretty good. Just imagine what they would do if they had Jonathan Taylor. They could have won this game potentially.
Absolutely.
Also, I do want to note at the end of the game, Richardson, he did take a hit as he was scrambling for the end zone. I think he said he had a bruised knee, so we gotta pay attention to that going forward, though.
Yeah, I think Anthony Richardson, last I heard this morning, I believe they said he's kind of like day to day, so he should be okay. But yeah, I didn't even realize he was out of the game until well after it was over. But it definitely was close there for a while. Like you said, it looked like Jacksonville was about to lose that one. But again, Calvin Ridley, this guy did exactly what we thought he was going to do when joining the Jaguars after that suspension and trade out of Atlanta. As you mentioned, 8 catches, 101 and a touchdown. He kind of had that early impact like Christian Kirk had last year. I mean, Christian Kirk was putting this same stat line together for the Jaguars coming over from Arizona. Um, yeah. Like you said, if the Colts had Jonathan Taylor, it could have been a little bit different here. And it was at home as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, we had about the same. So yeah, Jacksonville, they host Kansas City next week. It should be a good one. Indianapolis
Mm,
travels to Houston for another AFC South matchup against a much improved Houston team, which I'll get into that later.
yes. before we get going forward, this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even us armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and woman owned. So come get some of the sweet temptation and taste the premium difference. Use code BNE for 15% off your order. The website is premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. And now let's get back to our show. Titans at the Saints. This was a wacky game. Saints beat the Titans 16-15. Tannehill, boy, this is a game he probably want to forget. I remember during our preseason picks, you were saying Tannehill was terrible. Well, shit, you hit it a nail on the head then because he had 3 interceptions. He threw for less than 200 yards, and it just was not an overall good day for him. They got DeAndre Hopkins there. Hopefully they can improve on what they got because he seemed frustrated just by the bad play of the quarterback and overall with the team. Derrick Henry, he really couldn't get too much going. He had 16 rushes for 53 yards, but I think he had like one big play of 18 yards. So you can kind of say that the Saints were able to contain him. On the Saints side of the ball, Derek Carr won his first game without the Raiders. He looked pretty good with Chris Olave out there, and Mike Thomas was pretty decent as well. They're dealing with Alvin Kamara suspension, so he won't be there for the first 4 games. But Jamal Williams and crew was able to keep things, good for them, and they were able to pull out this win. Close game though. Brandon, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about this. The Titans and the Saints, they named Tim Shaw and Steve Gleason as their honorary captains for the game. I had to look
Mm-hmm.
up Tim Shaw. I'd never heard of him. Apparently, he played for the Titans back in the day. And of course, Steve Gleason was a member of the Saints right after the Hurricane Katrina in 2006. They both were diagnosed with ALS. You might remember
Mm-hmm.
Gleason's name a little bit more. He had that huge block punt against the Falcons, that first game back in the Superdome, kind of changed the whole culture down there. Sean Payton's first game. It was Drew Brees' first game. If it wasn't the first game, it was the first game of the season and after the hurricane down there again. Um,
Okay.
but I get to that because number 53 of the Saints, Zach Braun, in the second quarter, he had a similar block punt uh, for New Orleans. Unfortunately, New Orleans didn't do anything with it. All they led to a field goal, but it looked exactly like Steve Gleason's block kick against Atlanta years ago. And I guess in a sense, it kind of proved to be the difference on the scoreboard at the end. So it was kind of ironic again that Gleason was there to witness um, that big special teams play there down in the Big Easy. But yeah, pretty much a defensive game. I mean, besides the Derek Carr touchdown you mentioned um, to Rashid Shaheed, um, both teams were doing pretty much a bunch of nothing. So yeah, Ryan Tannehill, he's going to be, in my opinion, again, what holds the Titans back for another year. It never fails, and I just don't understand why, as an organization, they haven't acted on this. It was kind of like how Indianapolis just kept having these quarterback issues, and I mean, yeah, they decided to go a different quarterback each year, pretty much, and as opposed to Tennessee has just been keeping him on. He had one good year in my opinion. But anyway, 3 interceptions, like you said, on opening day. Titans just picked up exactly where the hell they left off last year. 7 straight losses down the stretch, and now they got one to start the year. It won't get much easier against the Chargers last week. That next week, excuse me, that showed up last week Sunday. There at home.
Yeah,
They didn't win, but the Chargers are much improved. So we'll see how they Titans do next week in their home opener.
for sure.
Buccaneers at Vikings. I think this was a bit of surprise for some folks, including myself. The Bucks beat the Vikings at US Bank Stadium by 3 points. I'm gonna talk about the wide receivers in this game. I was watching my Ravens play, jumping back and forth between NFL Game Day. Jordan Addison was going off, the rookie wide receiver, and next thing I knew, Justin Jefferson was doing what he does best. Finished with 9 receptions for a buck 50. Um, Unfortunately, it was in a losing effort for them, but do the Vikings miss Dalvin Cook? I mean, they only had 41 yards rushing on the ground when, Vikings fans were kind of like Cowboys fans when reference to Madison. I believe that's the guy out there,
Yeah,
bringing,
Alexander Madison.
yeah, toting the rock for them. They wanted him, a little bit, and they was, vouching for him a little bit more. Again, just like Cowboys with Tony Pollard. But I mean, I know Tampa Bay has a stout run defense with Vita Vea and those linebackers out there, but 41 yards,
Yeah.
man. Cousins didn't help either with three turnovers. I mean, so yeah. Looking at on the other side of things, Tampa Bay, Bake, he showed up to play. Got to give credit where credit's due. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but they got it done. Very tough environment to play up there in Minnesota in that dome. Um, but yeah, uh, hats off to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that I thought would probably be one of the top five teams in the draft next year.
Yeah. Season still young. They still could be. No
Definitely.
disrespect, Tampa Bay, no disrespect, but
Yep.
yeah, this definitely was a surprise to me. Like you said, Justin Jefferson had 9 receptions, 150 yards. It's weird though, like he did most of his damage in the first half. That second half, it seems like the
Yes.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers
They
were able
contain
to
them.
keep him under control because they only had 2 of his 9 catches in that second half. Baker Mayfield, he's a rah-rah type of guy, man. It's like you see him out there, he gets fired up. He might get into it with some of the opposing teams, but he'll try to go out there and win games. So he tries to compete. He didn't really do too much during the air. He only threw for 173 yards, but Mike Evans caught one of his touchdowns. He could have caught another one, I think, but he dropped
Beautiful
it.
pass.
Yeah, it was a slant, hit him right in the hands, but he dropped it. I don't know if that's. It seems like that's a thing with Baker Mayfield. Sometimes I remember Baker Mayfield. He threw it to Odell when he was in Cleveland, and Odell just dropped it. I don't know what's up with that, but they're gonna have to work it out. But yeah, Vikings is looking funny in the light. It's only the first game of the season, but I think they were talking to Justin after the game, and I think they asked him about the contract. He was like, the team doesn't care about it, neither do I. So we'll see how that goes going forward, how that relationship between Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, and the Vikings go. But yeah, the defense, it was a weak point last year. We'll see if it's gonna be a weak point for him again this year. Kirk Cousins, is the seat hot for him? Is the seat hot for the coach? I think is his second season, Kevin
Yeah.
McConnell. He'll probably be good, but Kirk Cousins, I don't know. It might be. We'll see. I don't know, but yeah, this
He
is.
is
I was
last year of the
shocked that
contract
the
too.
Bucks won this game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was.
Real quick, I think a lot of people forget how many close games the Vikings won last year.
Yeah, I think it was like
So
9 or 10, right?
yeah, it's hard to do that back to back years. You know what I'm saying? It's already hard enough to do it in pretty much games in a row in one season, but then you go into next year and they were down the same road yesterday and Sunday, and it just didn't end in their favor. So it could be like, oh shoot, the turn of the page. We're gonna end up losing these close games. So I
Yeah.
mean, kind of like the Chargers. So
Speaking of Chargers at
yep,
Dolphins, this was my game of the week. Honestly, this was a back
yeah,
and forth affair. I think they had 4 lead changes in the second half alone. Tua Tagovailoa, man, he definitely put himself in the MVP race. Tyreek Hill, my God, they look like a
man,
nuclear weapon. When Tyreek Hill said either last year or a couple years ago that Tua is the most accurate quarterback he's played
yep,
with, I don't think people can, just brush it off now because Tua, that dude is deadly accurate. He might not have the strongest arm in the world, but he'll get that ball where it needs to go. And he's usually
yep,
hitting people in stride. And you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, you hit them in stride, they might take it to the house on even any
exactly,
given play. I remember I was watching the game. I looked down for a second and I look up. Jalen Waddle's running with the ball. I thought he was going to score a touchdown, but they caught him. It was like early in the first quarter.
yep,
Chargers, I mean, it's I don't want to say typical Chargers, but it's like they get in these close games and sometimes they win them, but most of the times it seems like they lose them. Dolphins defense, most of the day Chargers had an answer for them, but at the end of the game, the Dolphins were able to get pressure on Justin Herbert, force a sack, and they were turnovers on downs to win the game. 36-34 is an amazing game. Brandon, what are your thoughts on this game?
yeah. Starting with the losing team, I say going into this game, I'd be watching Austin Eckler. He definitely disappoint. 16
Yeah.
carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Another day at the shop for him, plus 4 receptions for 47 yards. Chargers run game was clicking on all cylinders. Their problem, as usual, they, like most other teams, Baltimore included, have no answer for those guys who catch the passes out there for Miami. I mean, Bosa and Mack, they couldn't put any pressure on Tua,
Yeah.
despite
That's
being two of the
surprising.
league's premier. Yeah, despite being two of the league's premier pass rushers. But I'm glad Tua had himself another big game because everyone keeps talking about his 6 touchdown performance against Baltimore last year. Um, so maybe that'll be in the rearview mirror just for at least a couple days. Okay. But yeah, another guy I've been raving about is Jalen Phillips. I know he had a big play at the end of the
Mm,
game. I think he had a sack on Justin Herbert. Uh, what a what a talent down there that guy is for sure. I think he doesn't get a lot of the credit he deserves for
mm,
some reason. But Miami, they need to clamp down on their run defense, though. Again, 234 yards for Los Angeles they gave up. Um, I think you can get a pass on defense when you give up a lot of yards through the air when your offense is in regards to Miami and how much they put up. But when you get gashed on the ground, it's a little bit different in my opinion. And then they also have the new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. Everybody's been hyping up in the offseason. I don't know if you've seen it on the sports shows. They're like, oh, Vic Fangio coming in, Vic Fangio, this and that. He's going to turn around that defense. And they got gashed on the ground. I think if the Chargers went, the Chargers, like you said, they tend to find ways to lose these close games. It would have been a little bit different yesterday, and we could have been talking about this Miami defense a little bit more on how their struggles yesterday. But I mean, they got it
yeah.
done there. It's hard to travel cross country. These far East Coast teams to the West Coast and West to East, vice versa. It's really hard. So congratulations to the Miami Dolphins um,
Yeah.
on
For
their win
sure.
right there. Yep.
For sure. We'll get into these other games that happened over the week. Start with the Thursday night game, just in case anyone forgot. Lions beat the Chiefs 21-20. Falcons beat the Panthers 24-10. Browns whooped on the Bengals 24-3. Joe Burrow only threw for 82 yards. Jamar Chase kind of bumping his gums. He called the Browns elves. And after the game, it's like we just lost to
Yep.
some elves. And
Yep.
he was like, Cleveland is Cleveland. So he definitely has some bulletin board material, and Browns ate that up. They asked Miles Garrett about it. He was like, Cleveland is Cleveland. We're gonna try to make that a positive thing now. But yeah.
Yep.
Niners beat the Steelers 30-7, drummed them. Ravens beat the
Yeah.
Texans 25. Now it's a close game in the first half, but y'all pulled it out. Packers beat on the Bears 38-20. Packers still own the Bears. Nothing's new there, I guess. Raiders beat the Broncos in the close game 17-16. Eagles escaped with a victory against the Patriots 25-20. Rams beat the Seahawks 30-13. That definitely surprised me too. I thought the
Yep.
Seahawks would be a little bit better, but Rams and Matthew Stafford were able to control them. And Cowboys just stumped the Giants out 40-0. I think it's the biggest,
Crazy.
largest shutout in their franchise history.
Yep.
I know the Giants are thoroughly embarrassed. Brandon, were you watching this game? I mean,
You
bags over
sound
the head
exactly the
embarrassed.
same. You sound exactly the same as you were in high school when you used to talk about the Giants. I know they're thoroughly embarrassed. Yes, they are. My dad used to always say the Giants never win primetime games. I used to be like, Dad, you exaggerating, right? And sure enough, he'd be like, watch. And I'd be like, getting ready to leave out his house on a Sunday or Monday night. And sure enough, they get blown out. But hey, I ain't never seen it this bad, man. And it was like from that blocked kick, it just
Mm-hmm.
went down. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like that was just a light switch for Dallas. Because offensively, in my opinion, they didn't do much, at least from what I saw. You know what I'm saying? That defense got them going early on. I think it was 12 quarterback hits, 7 sacks, 3 takeaways in that game. Um, Switching to the Eagles and Patriots, man, Eagles got a little lucky, in my opinion. The Patriots were driving downfield at the end. They was one leg uh, that didn't drag because the guy
Mm-hmm.
had the right leg in. I think it was some tight end or something like he probably was a receiver. But anyway,
Yeah, it was
uh,
Boot or something. Bucci
yeah,
or
they was
Butte.
legit one damn leg from being what inside the red zone. I think New England would have won that game if they had and if they had got that first down. But I know
Right.
a couple Eagles fans, I know they was like, man, I think we kind of gave this game away when they turned the ball over and downs. Eagles went for it 4th and 2, if I'm not mistaken, and that's
Yeah.
how New England got on that final drive there. Um, yeah, the
Shit.
Broncos, I definitely go ahead.
Sorry. Let me just add to that. Jalen Hurts, the series before, he popped the ball up and fumbled it as he was scrambling, and they got the
Yeah,
ball back again. I was like, oh my God, they about to
yeah,
choke and lose this game, but they held on. It was
for
crazy.
sure. Yep. Raiders and Broncos. Definitely surprised at that one. It was a low scoring affair. I definitely thought the Broncos would win that at home, but then I thought back to last year. I was like, damn, I know I didn't pick them last year. I know I probably ain't gonna pick them much this year either, honestly, based on that.
Yeah.
Um, the Panthers, I thought for sure they was gonna win that one. I think we talked about that one on Friday. It was close there for a while, and then Atlanta just pulled out ahead.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Browns, Bengals, man, this is something about the Browns. Um
You got that number.
they got Joey Burrow's number, man. And they said that I think he was sacked on 38% of the plays yesterday, and he's typically only sacked or blitzed, excuse me.
Okay.
Uh
I say,
only
damn.
blitzed, yeah, only blitzed a standard of 18%. I saw on that stat line right there. But for some reason, man, they got their number. Now, all I think back is that show we had last year. They played on Monday night. I think it was around Halloween,
Oh
and I think it
yeah.
was your cousin was on,
My that
and
was
we
my
both
goddad. That was my goddad.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we picked Cleveland and he picked Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. And we looked
No,
like
we
fools.
picked Cincinnati. He picked the Browns.
That's
Because
what
the
it was.
Browns,
Yeah,
yeah.
I keep getting it confused because it's not like this. You know what I'm saying? Because Cincinnati just beats up on everybody. It seemed like lately, and yeah. But then I got one more before I'm gonna go to my game. Love is in the air, man.
Oh boy.
Jordan Love, man.
Oh
uh,
boy.
I mean, in the words of the great Denny Green, may he rest in peace. The Bears
Rest
are
in
who we
peace, man.
thought they were. And that's why they took the damn field. I mean, every time you look, pretty much second quarter on, Jordan Love was just hitting on everything. I mean, guys were wide open. Every time you
He was
turn around, they was
accurate.
getting the ball back. It was, I mean, everything was clicking in Green Bay's favor. Even I think it's Quay Walker, I think is their was their first round pick.
Great interception return for a touchdown. I did
Man,
not see that.
he just like when I saw him out there making plays yesterday, all I thought about was I think the game he had. It was a primetime game, and I think he lost his cool and had a big.
Oh
He
yeah.
had at least a big personal foul, and he might have got
Yeah.
ejected from the game.
I think he
And I was like,
did.
man,
Yeah.
just the talent of this guy, his potential is so high. He just had
Forgot
that.
all about
He had
that.
that couple issues as a rookie last year, and he was able to show up yesterday and help his team out. But to the Ravens and the Texans, man, offensive line, our left side has some issues. LJ has just some costly
Very
mistakes.
rusty performance.
Yeah, definitely. Interception, two fumbles. I mean, one of them he wasn't even securing the ball running down the field, and they got him.
Yeah.
Luckily, they recovered that one. Defensively, we played pretty solid. I gotta say
Yeah,
that,
I think y'all
despite the
did good.
secondary shortage. Um, we played standard. I mean, we give up a lot of plays on the outside and to the tight ends, but we always clamp down on the run. So I can't really complain on that. But overall, entirely way too many penalties, man. 13 penalties for 106 yards.
Mm.
Matta Matadikwe or whatever the hell his damn name is, number 92. Uh,
You'll get it right.
he
Look
had
at your name. Look at your name.
two personal fouls. Okay. I think two of them was on one drive, and I'm like, come on, like really? It was the way too many penalties, man. We cannot have this. We play Cincinnati next week. We know Jerry Burrow gonna be ready to go. He's gonna
Yeah.
be like Patrick Mahomes. Those two guys, man, look out for him next week. Um, Cincinnati's at home against us, and Kansas City travels to Jacksonville. Look out. If you're a Ravens fan or Jaguars fan, look out because those guys are going to show up for sure. I'd be shocked if otherwise. But Cincinnati did start 0-2 last year. Lastly, Texan fans, they should feel good though. I mean, their defense is much improved. They was throwing
Yeah.
all types of different looks at us. Their offense showed flashes. When CJ Stroud had protection, it usually ended well for them yesterday. And besides that middle, the offensive line, the left guard, the center, and the right guard, uh, like we, if you bull rush straight up that center, man, I feel sorry for C.J. Stroud, but they're going to have to start rolling them out or something. Those some the two running backs on both sides of them or something. I don't know what they're going to do to figure it out, but when we came straight up the middle, man, its success was all over the place. But yeah, that's enough with me. How do you feel about these games?
I want to give a salute and shout out to Zay Flowers for you guys. He's
Yeah, he had a pretty
very
good game.
dynamic. I mean, y'all were using him in the run game. He's catching the ball as well. Like I said, we were talking. I think Odell's gonna be a decoy. He had a couple big plays. I think he's gonna have a couple big plays each game for y'all.
Drew a
Either
couple
he's gonna
penalties
draw
too.
a penalty or he'll catch
Yep.
a big pass. But I think he'll have a couple of clutch big plays for y'all each game this opinion. Falcons and Panthers. I had the Falcons winning that game. Jesse Bates, he had two big interceptions. The game
Yeah.
was close, but
Yep.
it was like the same type of throw. Bryce Young didn't see him the first time, then Jesse Bates caught him again. That run game, I think, is going to be elite. I don't, but John Robinson, he had that one touchdown where he broke a tackle and then he broke between two tackles and ran it in the end zone from that touchdown pass he caught. And then Tyler Algier, he had two touchdowns, 75 yards rushing. I mentioned his names because I benched him in my fantasy matchups, and I'm kicking myself for it. Packers and Bears, yeah, Jordan Love. I mean, he's right. You're right. He looked good. I'm still kind of ailing him. He
I
looked
am
good,
too.
but his performance it was he had a couple of nice throws. He had two
Yeah.
touchdown throws to Romeo Dobbs that were great, and the one that Eric Jones hit him right in stride, right on the money. And he was able to run in the end zone about 50 yards away. That was pretty nice. Raiders Broncos. That game was kind of crazy. I forgot the receiver name. I hope he's all right because he got hurt. Jacoby Myers was his name. He caught a
Oh,
pass.
okay. Yeah.
Kareem Jackson hit him. I didn't think the hit was illegal. I thought it was a legal hit, but I can see why they threw the flag. Unfortunately, Jacoby Myers he got knocked out, and he didn't. I don't know why the hell they do this. They showed a picture of him like still in the field and stuff, but he was in like a fencing position, if you want to call it. It wasn't really a good look. But yeah, that was a close game. Kind of worried how the Broncos are gonna come out looking next week. They didn't have Jerry Judy this game, so I did think that have an impact on their passing game. Russell Wilson, he threw two touchdowns. He didn't give the ball away. He was mostly dinking and dunking it. But I think once he gets Jerry Judy's back, that offense, the passing game will open up a little bit more. I want to touch on this Rams game, man. Puka
Yeah.
Nakua, the rookie receiver for the Rams, just had his welcome to the NFL moment. He had like 10 receptions for over 100 yards.
Mm.
Tutu Atwell, he also had a big game. He also had over 100 yards. A lot of people write Matt Stafford off, man. I think he's a really good quarterback. I know he's
Yeah,
dealt with
he is.
injuries, but
Yeah.
when he's healthy and he's got time to throw, he can light you up. And
Yeah.
I'm more surprised by the way the defense did against the Seahawks. I thought DK Metcalf and crew would have a way better game, but they were pretty much contained. I wonder how people are feeling about Geno Smith right now. He didn't have his greatest game. DK Metcalf kind of lost his cool at the end there too. Trying to think that Browns Bengal game, like you talking about. I saw a clip on it before we got online here. They were showing on Myles Garrett. He was literally toying with people. Like he was acting like he was dribbling on the basketball before they snapped the ball, and he rushed Joe Burrow. He got to Joe Burrow like a second and a half. I'll send that to you if you didn't see it, but it was crazy. But yeah,
Mhm.
overall, man, this is a great week. I'm just glad football is back, baby. So glad. All I got
Yeah.
for it though.
Um, was it? I know in the Packers game, I wanted to mention that I was hesitant. I picked the Packers. I was the only one in my picks league that did. But I also picked them the last 2 years on opening day, and they got embarrassed against
Mm,
Minnesota and New Orleans the year before. Like the
yep.
Packers have not been good on opening day. So for this, not only is that a monkey off the back for Jordan Love, it's also a monkey off the back for the entire Packers organization. I mean, because they legit have been embarrassed. And
Yeah.
I mean, both times have been on the road as well. But they like I definitely thought last year they were going to beat the Vikings heading into that game. The Bears are improved, but they definitely, they still got some holes for sure. And I feel like it was one more
I just
point
want to
I
add real
wanted to
quick.
make.
Justin Fields, I didn't see any improvement from him yesterday from the last season. So I'm kind of concerned about that. I'll be honest with you. He was at some points, most points in the game, he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. So Justin
Hey,
Fields, you got
look,
to definitely step it up. That Packers defense was getting after him, but Justin Fields,
yeah,
DJ Moore only had like 2 catches. They're gonna have to get him involved.
that's what I was gonna get to, man. Fox had the graphics ready though, because they mentioned like was it Tua Tagovailoa when
Yeah,
they added Jalen Waddle because they played together in school, and then Jalen Hurts and they added was it Devontae
AJ
Smith?
Brown. Oh, Devontae Smith and
Yeah, but
AJ Brown.
Devontae went to school with him, right?
They
Didn't
went to the
I
same
think
school.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if they
yeah.
played together.
So
Yeah,
they and I feel like it was one more quarterback wide receiver tandem that they mentioned that they both played together in college and played together in what's called. But Fox was ready for it now,
oh,
but
Burrow and
it ain't.
Chase. Did they play together at LSU?
Yes, that probably what it was. Yeah, that probably was because one was drafted the year before that. Yeah, Burrow was drafted before Chase was. Yep.
Yeah,
So yeah, that they was hoping, you know what I'm saying, but it ain't work out. So I mean, again, I'm not 100% sold on Jordan Love either, but I'm very impressed with how he came out in the first game, and
yeah,
what's going to really blow it up if Aaron Rodgers don't come out and have a big game and win tonight, it's going to be woo, it's going to be something to see on social media, man. It
yeah,
is going to be
yeah.
something to see for sure. But yeah, let's get to some player awards. We got a offensive player of the week, defender, special teamer, and bonehead caller play of the week. I think that's our favorites right there. So let's start with offensive ace. I'm going to go with, it's so easy to say Justin Jefferson or Christian McCaffrey, but I'm going to stick with Jordan Love, man. Uh,
Mm.
not a not a big passing game day overall, but 15 for 27, 245, 3 touchdowns, 123.2 passer rating. A guy we all had questions about, including myself. Again, proved it in America's Game of the Week on Fox in the historic Soldier Field. Who's your offensive ace of the week?
I got to give it to Tua Tagovailoa, man. He threw for
Mm,
466 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did give the ball up twice for the interception and the fumble, but that dude was airing it out crazy, and Tyreek benefited majorly from
for
it.
sure,
So yeah, Tua
man.
for me.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. Defensive player of the week. I'm going to go with the San Fran defensive end Drake Jackson. They
Mm,
have so many pieces on defense, everyone, and this guy took down Pickett 3 times on Sunday there in Pittsburgh. He's a second round pick for 2022. I had to look the man up because I've mentioned several times the Bosa's, the Hufangas, the Fred Warners of the world, and this guy just showed up and showed out there Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh. How about yourself?
I almost gave it to the damn Cardinals defense and that guy who didn't record a sack since 2020. But I'm gonna give it to Darius Slay. He had
Oh
an
yeah,
interception
70
return for a
yards.
touchdown, and that
Yep.
they pretty much needed that to win that game. Who knows if he didn't get that touchdown, how the game would have turned out. But yeah, he had a big game. He only had like 3 tackles combined and 3 passes affected, but that interception and then returning for a touchdown was a huge game, huge momentum changer for them, in my opinion. So yeah, Darius Slay is my defender of the week.
Special teamer of the week. I'm gonna go with a guy I mentioned earlier. Saints fans had a flashback to 2006. Um, their linebacker this time, number 53, Zach Bond, huge block punt in the second quarter. Titans were up 6-3. They had a little bit of momentum there. Um, but it was a change of momentum right after this play. Uh, Again, it kind of reminded Saints fans of the same exact block. I think he just came from a different side of the field that Steve
Okay.
Gleason came from. Um, that again, a Saints legend played safety down there for them for several years, and now unfortunately suffering from ALS. How about your special teamer of the week?
I'm gonna stick with the Eagles. I'm gonna go with their kicker, Jake Elliott. He made all 4 of his field goals. Also had a 56 yard field goal. He did make an extra point though, but if he didn't make those field goals, who knows? He could be saying the Patriots won this game. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
I also played against him in fantasy, and he had like 18 damn fantasy points who won the game for the guy I played against. So fucking Jake Elliott, Eagles. That's all I got.
All right. My personal favorite part of the show, Bonehead Call and Play of the Week. I'm gonna stick with my Ravens and Texans game. Baltimore's defense. We had Houston on 3rd and 15, backed up in their own red zone, in their own side of the field. Stroud throws an incomplete pass to Woods. Okay, it looks good. Next thing I know, it's a flag on the play, man. Uh, I'm thinking we about to get great field position. Uh, Here comes Ashton Kutcher telling me that I've been punked. Okay. Our second year defensive tackle, Travis Jones, he shoves CJ Stroud to the ground with one hand, draws the personal foul again,
Mm.
15 yards and a first down for Houston. They get some rhythm. Thank God it only led to a field goal. But I mean, Travis Jones, he's not a rookie anymore. Like he made some mistakes for us last year. He's been We pretty much didn't resign Calais Campbell because this guy was here and he played pretty decent last year. We had high hopes for him, but he could have drew himself up. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to make that play because you get something like that against a good team like Cincinnati next week, Kansas City, San Fran. Uh, they're going down the field and they gonna score a field goal. And they're gonna make you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They'll make us pay for that. But yeah, Travis Jones, my bonehead play of the week. What about yourself?
I'm going to the Dolphins Chargers game. Got to give it to JC Jackson. Right before the half, the Dolphins were kind of driving down the field. They were still in their territory. Tua, it was basically the last play to have. Tua threw a Hail Mary to one of the receivers. I think the ball got to like maybe the 30, the opposing 30-yard line. And for some reason, I guess JC Jackson must have just lost his head, but instead of just letting the guy catch the ball or trying to break it up, he pushes the defender in the back, gets a pass interference call, which gets them in field goal territory. And they're able to kick a field goal to go in the half, go up 20-17. They won by 2 points. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that play causing the game, but that's a bonehead play if I ever seen one. Just try to break it down or let them
Yeah.
catch the ball. Like they have four other people back there defending. You know, they do that prevent defense. They stick like
Mm-hmm.
three or four people just by the end zone. They had like three or four people back there. As JC Jackson pushes a guy I can't remember if he picked it off or broke it up, but they didn't complete the pass, but they threw a flag and then Jason Sanders kicked a 41-yard field goal to put him up.
Mm.
So yeah, JC Jackson, I know that's thing. He had a tough time too going against Tyreek. He probably won't forget about that game for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Definitely. But yeah, folks, check out the Monday night game tonight. We got the Jets and the Bills. Right now, I'm leaning towards the Bills. What about you, Brian? How you think who's going to win this game?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Bills right now. Again, I think it's going to take some time for this Jets team to get it all together. It is, they're going to have some. How do I put this? It's 9/11 in New York, so that is going to be a little bit of a
Yeah,
motivating factor, I think, for them as well. Um, Again, our thoughts with the thousands of families that lost people, 22 years ago.
yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers and company, I think it's going to take a little bit of time before they get it going. I think that uh, Josh Allen and those guys still are the team to beat in the AFC East. So it won't be easy, but I think Buffalo slides out of there with a win.
Yeah, I think they'll win too. I don't want to brush past the Jets defense, especially that D
Yeah.
line. I think they're going to
Yep.
cause some havoc for Josh Allen, but I just think they'll figure out a way to win this game, have a couple more big plays, maybe a few less mistakes than the Jets. And I think the Bills should win this one. We'll definitely see. I'll be tuning in. Hopefully everyone else can tune in. I read that
Sure. Manning cast.
yeah, Manning Cast. I read
Yeah.
that I think it's Spectrum worked out a deal with
Oh,
Disney
okay.
and the streaming provider. So all those
Excuse me.
people who didn't have ESPN for this last week, and they missed some big stuff. I mean, the US Open, college
Hmm.
football games on, they missed some big stuff. I don't even know what I would do in a situation like that. But yeah.
Yeah, man.
Um this is definitely a crazy week of football. Hopefully this game tonight is not a super blowout like it was last night. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't say because I went to sleep. I went to sleep around like fourth quarter, probably like 5 minutes. I was like, this is ain't no way in hell
Oh yeah.
they probably not
Yeah.
even gonna score, and they definitely didn't
Yeah.
score. So yeah,
I remember you texting
Um,
that over.
yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who watches and listens to the show. This has been another episode of the Breaking the Inner podcast. And stay safe, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Peace.